Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your AEW Dynamite recap for Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. MJF forms a new faction. Darby Allin retains the TNT title, and we'll preview St. Patrick's Day Slam. Let's do it! Good evening. Welcome to the show. Where is everybody? There's Johnny. Johnny's with me. And I got my man Glen with me as well. What's up, boys?
Good, you?
Howdy ho.
Yeah, what's up, boys? All right. So there's Glen MacKenzie. He's our guest here tonight, joining us. Big wrestling fan. Glen, of course, a friend of the show. I don't know if I have to introduce Glen. I mean, you've been on the show for a while. You're AJ's. I always think of you as AJ's tag team partner, and he kind of Janetti'd you. He kind of turned you into the Janetti of the tag team, and this is your chance to kind of edge and Christian. You know, this is your chance to become Christian and less Janetti to AJ's Shawn Michaels or Edge, you know, however you want to play it. So Glen and AJ kind of came into the Ringside Report universe at the same time. And AJ somehow became this megastar, and Glen, for some reason, it never worked out for you. But now, with Johnny North, you're going to become mega famous here on the Ringside Report Network. So we're here to talk about AEW, and I'm happy to have you here, Glen, of course, of Gracie Baja, West Island, and we'll plug your gym later on. Johnny, big man, did you like AEW Dynamite tonight?
Well, it's a reverse of last week where I thought the first hour wasn't that great, but the second hour was pretty good. Where last week, the first hour was good, the second hour not so much.
So you feel like the second hour was good this week? You liked it? Not the first hour?
Yes. First hour was kind of weak, I thought, but it really picked up in the second hour without question. I thought that match between Allin and Sky was great, and that ending segment, that was a great ending for the show.
It was a pretty good ending, a pretty shocking ending, and we'll get to it. Want to give a shout-out to our members. Craig Paquette is there. Angelo Contagonis. Shout-out to all of the members. Do become a member of the team. Sign up on YouTube. You can also go to donate.ringsidereport.net. We encourage you to go to donate.ringsidereport.net and also merch.ringsidereport.net to pick up some of this cool merch, like this cup that I have in my hand. See, Glenn, we have cups with AJ's face on them there. You see that? One day your face may be on a cup, all right? One day.
Well, hey, man, dare to dream, boys.
That's right. It'll happen one day. All right, so we have AEW Dynamite to recap. We'll also preview the Dynamite next week that they're calling St. Patrick's Day Slam, which I'm kind of excited about. They announced a bunch of matches for that. Mox and Kingston versus the Good Brothers. Cody Rhodes versus Pentagon, Matt Hardy, Private Party, Butcher and Blade versus Jurassic Express and Bear Country. Jade Cargill will be wrestling next week, and Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa will be the main event in an unsanctioned Lights Out match. So we'll preview those matches in a little bit. Let's start with what happened on Dynamite tonight. Ray Phoenix over Matt Jackson in the opener, gets the pinfall victory after like a side pile driver. I thought that match was really good, John. You're kind of dissing the first hour. I thought the first match, AEW Dynamite usually starting off strong. I liked that match. I thought that match was very good.
I didn't particularly like it. I thought it was just a lot of spots. A lot of stuff didn't make a lot of sense. That match looked like they're just hitting moves for moves. Not a lot of selling. Like, it got a bit better after the Destroyer, actually, that they hit. It seemed like they were actually trying to tell a story, and then suddenly the match is over. So I didn't particularly like that match.
All right, well, I liked it. Fine, Johnny. That's all right. Glenn, what'd you think of the opener?
I loved it. I thought it was great, man. I'm a big fan of Ray Phoenix, actually. I think he's fantastic. I don't know. I'm a pure wrestling. I like the flashy stuff. What do you want me to tell you? Yeah. But it's no, I thought it was great. I thought it was really good. I thought they were opening up too strong, if that made sense. I mean, I was like, how are they going to follow that up? Honestly, I got to be like, it was a great match to me. I found it very entertaining.
I mean, it is flashy, but that's kind of what you get with Ray Phoenix and Matt Jackson. You know what you're getting going into that match. I thought that Destroyer on the outside was really impressive. They did some impressive stuff. I mean, those guys, you know, they're pretty athletic guys. They do some wild stuff. I didn't think it was the match of the night, though. And I guess they're leading up to a tag team match for the tag team titles because Rey Fenix and Pac won the Battle Royal at the pay-per-view, so they're going to get a tag team title match against the Young Bucks at some point. It's not next week, right? They didn't set it up for next week, so I don't know when it's going to happen. But at some point, the Bucks will wrestle the Phoenix and Pac. I guess they don't have a tag team name.
Death Triangle.
Who's got a TV on?
Yeah, Death Triangle, yeah.
Glenn, you got a TV on?
Not me.
Johnny.
No, it's off, man. It's off.
I have no other TV except for what the screen I'm looking at you with right now.
Hold on, it could be me then. Hold on a second. I turned off all the volume. 1 second. Boom. There we go.
There you go.
Did I fix it?
Yeah, that's much better.
It was me.
The only thing I'm looking forward to here in this feud, like Rey Fenix and Pac versus the Bucks, that'll be all right. But Nick Jackson versus Pac in a one-on-one match, could we get that? Because we got Matt Jackson versus Phoenix. Could we do Nick Jackson versus Pac? I think that would be excellent. I don't know if they'll do that. I like Nick Jackson in singles action. Okay, we got to go to the Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley promo because that was a big deal, right? Because the pay-per-view ends with Eddie Kingston draped over Jon Moxley, trying to protect him from this massive explosion that's going to happen. And the massive explosion is just kind of sparklers and a couple pops outside of the ring. So Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley now have to explain what happened to them at the pay-per-view. So Eddie Kingston says that while he was in the ring, he was so stressed out and he was breathing heavy that he was panicking about being in a cell and having a court date and the prison guard or the jail guard or whoever telling him, oh, we're going to send you to Rikers Island. We're going to send you to Sing Sing. Which, like, pick a prison already, you know? Which prison was he trying to tell him to, you know? So, that was weird, right? And then he says, oh, I was, having a flashback and I panicked. So, basically, his explanation was, it wasn't the explosions that knocked me unconscious. I had a panic attack. Are you guys buying that? Is that okay? Are we letting that stand? The panic attack? That's what happened to Eddie Kingston. He was in the ring, and he had a flashback of when he was in jail and potentially going to go to prison. And he said, oh, you guys, you wouldn't understand that type of stuff because I'm from the streets, thug life. And I like that Eddie Kingston at least admitted tonight that it's forever 1998 in his head because he dresses like it's forever 1998, wearing a DMX hoodie. Who's wearing where do you even find that DMX hoodie? I expect him to come out in like Rockaware and Karl Kani. Like that's what Eddie Kingston is still wearing. It's very strange.
FUBU.
Yeah, FUBU. Well, Johnny North still wears FUBU.
I wear
Take it
FUBU,
easy.
actually.
Johnny still wears FUBU.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You're beautiful. You're a beautiful man,
yeah.
Johnny North.
Yeah, you're.
Next week.
There's something about pro wrestlers.
I'll bring
they
out my
love
8-ball
that,
jacket, man. It'll be perfect.
Pro wrestlers love the old school rap style for some reason. Johnny North with the FUBU, Eddie Kingston with a DMX hoodie tonight. Dark Man X. Are you kidding? That was.
You said he had
awesome.
PTSD. That was the best part.
Yeah.
PTSD. He had PTSD, man. He had flashbacks. That was it. I couldn't move. I heard the sparklers. It was ridiculous. It was but I guess that's what they had to do. They had to kind of just brush. There's nothing they could say. They had to brush past it and do what they had to do.
Are you accepting that, John?
Lame.
You're accepting it?
Well, they had to say something, right? And I find Eddie Kingston, he can deliver a promo that you can believe what he says. I believe, he went through a lot of horrible things in his life. Do I believe that he had PTSD and not so much? But whatever. I mean, he's trying to tell a story, and at least they're trying to cover it up. I mean, it's a bunch of BS, but they're stuck. They have no other choice. They have to do something, and that's what they did.
That's what they did, and that's what they're doing, and they did that to get to Mox and Eddie Kingston now as a tag team for some reason, right? That's obviously why they did that whole post-match angle, because it was to not write off Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston after some sort of massive explosion. It was to set them up as best friends and now a tag team. you saw when Eddie Kingston was coming out on the stage, he had Butcher and Blade there with him, and he looked like he was trying to get them to come out to help Jon Moxley, and they didn't want to, and they went back out through the tunnel, and then Kingston went out, and he held on to Moxley. Or as Kenny Omega said, dry humped Jon Moxley. That was pretty funny.
We'll get to that later.
Kenny was making fun of that. Yeah, we'll talk about Kenny's promo later. But Mox wonders if Kenny really wanted to blow him up. And he says, Impact probably made the bomb. That's why it didn't work. Moxley says that he believes Kenny Omega was trying to explode him, but the explosions malfunctioned because Kenny Omega was apparently in charge of all the pyro, and he did a bad job. So Moxley believes that Kenny was trying to murder them, but failed. And Eddie Kingston says he had a panic attack and PTSD, and that's why he lay on top of Jon Moxley for a good 7-8 minutes, unconscious. Unconscious, too. Like, how long are you really unconscious from a panic attack? I mean, I saw Sopranos, right? Tony Soprano used to have panic attacks. The guy would see some gabagool, he would, like, breathe heavy, he would fall over, and then Carmelo would be there, Tony, and he'd wake up. Like, it wouldn't be a long thing. Not like Eddie Kingston, who was there, sitting there for, like, 15 minutes on the ground, huddled over Moxley. And was Moxley unconscious? How come at some point Moxley didn't go, hey, man, get off of me? They never explained that. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't Moxley at some point be like, get off me, Eddie? Are you okay? What's going on here? You having a panic attack?
I was wondering what they were saying to each other while they're can you imagine what they were just whispering to each other? It's like, should I get up now? I don't know, bro.
What do we do?
Selling.
Just sell it, brother. Just sell it. God damn.
That was funny. That was too bad, man. That was because it was a great match. It was a fantastic match.
Yes.
It's just such a shitty way to end it. Didn't make any sense.
That's not how you end a pay-per-view. All right, we have Cody Rhodes versus a guy. I don't know who he beat. I don't know who he wrestled. Who was the man? Did anybody catch his name? The jobber that Cody squashed in under 2 minutes?
No.
I think it was
with the figure four.
What?
Gargus, I think.
Gargus? Like Golga, but Gargus? His name was Gargus. Yeah. He didn't have a first name or a last name. His name was only
that was his
Gargus?
That was his last name.
Oh, okay.
That was his last name. I can't remember his first name.
That's a name? Gargus? Anyway, so Cody beat Gargus with the figure four, made him tap out real quick. Arn Anderson real happy with how fast Cody beat him. Tony Schiavone shows up after the match to interview Cody. Cody talks about not winning the ladder match, but still, being Cody Rhodes, and that's good enough for him. And then Pentagon shows up, and he starts talking. He's apparently on like a Spanish commentary table with Alex Abrahantes. Are they doing Spanish commentary, or is that just a gimmick? Because I've never seen the Spanish announce team before in AEW, and I was unaware of them even having a Spanish TV deal. Do they really produce the show in Spanish?
Yeah, they do. I've seen them there before too. Dasher is usually actually there, so they changed up obviously because Penta, I guess, had to be there for that spot.
Wow, es la verdad.
You can order
they
the
really
pay-per-view
do that?
in Spanish too.
Bueno, muy bueno.
Más bueno.
Oh. Well, I actually was pretty proud of my Spanish because I understood Pentagon's promo without Alex Abrahantes' translation, all right? I understood exactly what Pentagon was doing. I could have translated for Pentagon, but they had Abrahantes do it, who is like the worst part of AEW, or not AEW, Being the Elite. I don't know if you guys ever watched that show. I know Johnny doesn't. Glenn, you ever watch Being the Elite? Are you a BTE fan?
No, Being the Elite, God. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, my God. How dare you be on this show? Get off this show. You're banned from this show. You don't know what Being the Elite is? What are you talking about?
What is it on?
You're in the right.
Thank you, Johnny.
Never watch it.
It's on YouTube.
I watch Dark Side of the Ring and stuff. I don't.
No. It's the Young Bucks YouTube show, and there's a lot of the AEW storylines that play out on Being the Elite. A lot of the stuff that happens in AEW, a lot of the stories actually take place on Being the Elite. I guess you're not a big Johnny Hungy fan because you haven't been watching BTE. Are you into Johnny Hungy at all? Oh, my God. Not a Johnny Hungy fan. You and Johnny North are going to get along great here. This is not good. Johnny loves it. Johnny's loving this right now.
It's great.
We're in the big biceps club, man. We're good here.
Yeah, man. Flex.
That's right, man. You got roll on the 17s. There we go. Yeah, get on there.
You and John could have a pose down here. We'll see what happens.
I got to oil up first. I got to oil up and stretch.
Johnny's always oiled and ready, all right? He's always ready. Takes off the shirt. It's like baby oil.
Not so much anymore. It's too cold for that right now.
Too cold for the oil and the pose downs?
Oh, yeah. Way too cold.
All right.
So April. I'm getting old. I'm getting old. I hurt myself flexing once, so I got to be careful now.
Pentagon says he is the Lord of the Lucha Libre. Pentagon says Cody lost a Revolution, and if it was just them in the ladder match, he would have lost more than the match. Penta says he would have hurt Cody so bad that he wouldn't have been able to pick up his newborn baby girl, which sent Cody in a rage. He charged at Penta, who was kind of in the crowd, and all the wrestler fans separated them pretty quickly before anything kind of got out of hand. So we know where Cody and Pentagon are going, against each other. I mean, this is okay. This is a fine feud.
Week.
Is that just it? It's just a one... That's what they did it for? That's what the promo for? Just to set up one match? This is not a feud for Cody and Pentagon?
Cody doesn't seem to have feuds.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
Well, just if they're going to drag this out, because they said they're going to have this match next week, so unless they have like a series of matches, like I think it's just a one and done.
Yeah, Glenn, you might be right about that. Cody doesn't seem to have feuds. He had the Shaq thing. That seems to be over. You have now this match with Pentagon next week. You're right, it is next week on this St. Patrick's Day Slam. Cody is kind of directionless in AEW. He was in that ladder match on the pay-per-view, but really, you know, he's one of the top baby faces in the company, and he doesn't really have a clear direction. He's already they've booked him out of challenging for the world title because at one point he lost that match that said he could never challenge for the title again. And he was a TNT title for so long, TNT champion for so long, he lost it to Darby. You're not really going to go back there. It's hard to find a spot for Cody. That Shaq thing was good, but there was only so much they could do there. It's one match and done, right? Unless Shaq comes back. Although, where is Shaq? He disappeared from the ambulance last week, and there was no word on where he is now. Did Shaq disappear?
I guess.
I thought it was a one thing.
Hold on, sorry. We got to go one
sorry,
at a time.
guys.
That's okay.
You go, Johnny. You go.
Johnny, did Shaq... Did Cody kill Shaq? Like, is that a thing that happened? Is that why Shaq disappeared from the ambulance? Cody murdered him somehow? Like, what exactly happened? Did Big Show do something to Shaq because they have prior beef? There was no explanation on what happened to Shaq last week in the ambulance. They didn't address it on the pay-per-view. They didn't address it tonight on the show. So that's an issue. And then also... You know, Glenn is right. Cody doesn't really have feuds. When's the last time Cody had an actual program with somebody that lasted a couple of matches?
It's probably when he was fighting for the TNT title. Ever since then, like he just pretty much the Shaq thing lasted 2 months, then stopped, then like a month he wasn't doing much, then came back. So, the Shaq thing will come back when Shaq comes back, whenever that happens. So they don't talk about it because they don't know when that's going to happen. So you just forget about it until Shaq magically appears again.
I guess that's what we're supposed to do, just completely forget about it until Shaq reappears. I'm seeing TK asking what happened to Mike Tyson. I mean, he showed up for one night. It seemed like they were going to do something with him, and that never came through. They had Mike Tyson and Rashad Evans and Vitor Belfort and Henry Cejudo all showing up together on Dynamite for one night. And that was it. And now Shaq, he had one match.
Vitor again.
Yeah, they're not going to bring back Vitor. Vitor was crazy. But Shaq, Shaq having this one match, that was fine. You could have just left it alone, but instead they had him disappear from an ambulance, and then they don't explain it. So it's like, okay, well, don't you have to do something about this now? Like, don't we have to have some sort of idea or story here with Shaq? Why did you do that with Shaq if you're never going to bring him back? Or if you are going to bring him back, like, how long are we supposed to wait? And are we really supposed to remember in like 3 months' time that, oh, yeah, Shaq disappeared from that ambulance that one time and it was never spoken of again? You would think you'd address it on TV at least so that you could continue the story so that when Shaq actually does reemerge, people are like, oh, yeah, that happened to Shaq. But you just kind of forget about it. It makes me believe that you did it, weren't really sure what you were doing at the time, and now don't really have a clue on how to follow it through. There's no follow-through. Cody Rhodes, he's one of the top performers in the company. There's no clear direction for his character. I think that's a problem with AEW right now. He should be doing something. He should be feuding with somebody. He should be feuding with Miro, really. Like, I think Miro needs something, Cody needs something. Those two guys could have a few matches together. They could have some solid, good wrestling matches that look legitimate, Miro needs to be elevated in a major way. A feud with Cody would do that. They haven't gone anywhere near each other. This Miro and Kip thing has to end at some point. I think Miro and Cody need to enter into a program together. I don't really know what else you do with Cody right now, other than, it looked like he was doing something with Sting. Like, they keep teasing things with Cody. That's the thing. Like, he's like, oh, maybe I'll come back to Darby one day. Maybe I'll come back to MJF one day. I really want a match with Sting. Shaq disappeared from the ambulance. Like, there's a lot of things with Cody that are kind of like they're there in the background, and you think that they'll show up at some point, but they haven't. And in the meantime, he just does this other shit. So, do something. Sting.
I thought they were going to do a program with him and Christian. I thought that's what the direction they were going to go when they brought him in, but they're going Omega, obviously. But
yeah, which I'm not mad about at all. I like that.
That should be great.
Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy are in an arcade. Chuck wants another match with Miro and Kip. Chuck says if they lose, he'll be Miro's butler forever. Okay? That's a big stipulation. No real thing on what happens if they win. Chuck says he wants the ring surrounded by arcade machines, and he wants to break their heads through the machines. And then Orange Cassidy took off his sunglasses and said, and then we break you. Like, Orange Cassidy's supposed to be intimidating all of a sudden? That was weird. I didn't really like that promo at all. John, did you like that?
Not really, but I didn't really enjoy a lot of the stuff they've been doing up to that match. So I thought that should have been over after that match. Like, move on after that. I don't want to see that rematch, to be honest, but I guess there's nothing else for them, unfortunately. And I guess they got to give Orange and Chuck the win back, unfortunately.
Why?
Because as much as I don't think you like Orange Cassidy, and maybe, I don't know what Glen thinks about Orange Cassidy, but they're going to push Orange Cassidy, so he's got to get that win back.
It's not that I don't like Orange Cassidy. I think he's all right, but I think that they over-pushed him, and now they're back kind of where he should be, but they over-pushed him. They had him beat Jericho on pay-per-view, and now he's fucking around with Kip Sabian. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. He beat Jericho on pay-per-view, and since then, he's like, his momentum has just died. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's just the booking
they killed
of
the
Orange.
story, man.
Yeah, I don't dislike Orange.
Exactly.
I just don't like the booking of Orange. Orange is a comedy character. Now, all of a sudden, he's supposed to be intimidating. Says, oh, we're going to break you. What is that?
Well, it's them trying to make him seem tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least he spoke.
Man
of few words, but when he talks, he means action.
I guess. I'm just not interested in this rematch. Is the rematch next week? It wasn't clear when this match is going to be. They didn't announce it for
Are they
next
actually
week, so
surrounding the ring with?
That's what
Are they surrounding the ring with the video game things?
That's what Chuck wanted. I mean, I wouldn't put it past AEW to do that. I think they probably do it. No one's done it before, so why not? I think they'll probably do it. And I think John's right. Chuck and Orange will get the win back, and they'll beat Kip, I hope. Like, Miro winning on the pay-per-view made a lot of sense. How do you have Chuck or Orange beat Miro? That's the problem with this feud. Like, they're trying too much to put Miro into these situations where he's in peril, but it's like, really? He's not in peril with these guys. It doesn't make sense. The feud doesn't make sense. Miro's so big, so intimidating. He comes in, and his first feud in AEW is with two of the least intimidating-looking guys on the roster. It just doesn't help the guy when he's trying to come in and get over with this new character and a new company. You know? And the Orange Miro one-on-one, like, to me, it should be about building an Orange versus Miro one-on-one, but that's never what it's been. It's been these silly tag team matches with Kip and Chuck. But Orange Miro one-on-one, like, that should have been the pay-per-view match, but Chuck is involved because he's like a butler character with Miro. This whole thing, it's a mess. They need to trim the fat.
I don't think they know what to do with him, honestly. He's just such a big athletic guy. Who are you gonna? It's all squash matches. I mean, who are you gonna put him up against?
I mean, have him beat Kip first of all. Get rid of Kip.
Well, yeah.
Him and Kip is just come on, Kip. The problem with Miro is every time you see him, he's with Kip. I used to like when Miro came out. He had Lana next to him. It was good. Now he's got Kip. Sting's interviewed on the stage. Sting talks about his win at Revolution. Lance Archer and Jake Roberts show up. Jake Roberts and Sting. I said we do this match. Let's just do Jake the Snake and Sting one more time. Let's go. Let's bring it back. Let's do it.
Not do that.
Come on, John. They got Tully Blanchard in the ring all the time. Let's put Jake in the ring. I mean, Jake might even be younger than Sting at this point. Come on, man. How old is Jake?
Well, not for his wrestling, that's for sure.
He falls over throwing a punch, man. You can't expect too much out of Jake, man. He can barely stand up at the side of the ring. They got to get rid of him. I love Jake the Snake, but man, fuck. He's got to get out of there. Like, it's embarrassing at this point. Like, to him. He can't even walk to the ring properly.
I don't know what he's doing backstage, but on TV, he doesn't add much.
He doesn't add anything.
Here and there, John, but not consistently. Most of the time, he's just kind of there. Tonight, he wasn't even on the microphone. It's just Archer there. Archer did all the talking. Jake just kind of pointed at Sting, which I liked, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much he's really adding to the presentation of Lance Archer. And they always have to have Jake clothesline somebody. You know, Jake's like hitting people with stuff. It's a little, you know. But at this point, hey, if you got Tully in the ring, you got Sting in the ring, Jake's 65, why not? Archer says something about time, taking Sting's time and not getting time, and he didn't need to win the ladder match, and now Sting can have his time back, and Sting's like, okay, I guess that's it for me. I'll see you again next week, Tony Schiavone. And I was like, what? You don't want to address that at all, Sting? You're just gonna walk away confused? I guess we're gonna do Sting versus Lance Archer next, but like, who asked for that?
Well, who else is he going to wrestle? I mean, when you look at it, there's not a lot of guys for Sting to wrestle.
Cody.
And he needs to wrestle guys that... Nah, Cody, I mean, that's face versus face, though. I mean, Archer, right back to being a heel. So, boom, that works. Face versus heel. It's better like that. Not this face versus face stuff. There's no heat that way.
But Lance Archer, what makes him special is how big and violent he is. How much he throws people around. If he can't do that, he doesn't look that good. And if he does do that, he kills Sting. So you can't have it both ways. He's the murder hawk monster. He's a gigantic man who throws people and smashes and kills. You're putting him against a guy you have to be delicate with. Who's going to win here? How do you look good doing this? And again, is Sting going to win? Like, Sting's going to beat Lance Archer too? That's hard to believe, man. Like, I understand he's the Stinger and all that, but there are some smaller guys in AEW that you could have Sting wrestle that would be more believable that he has a shot in hell against. Steve Borden versus Lance, whatever the hell his name is, his real name, fucking loses in a fight, right? Lance Archer would whoop Sting's ass in a real fight. Just look at them. Look how they walk around. I mean, you could tell the age difference. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. I don't believe in Sting beating Lance Archer, but I also don't believe that AEW will book Lance Archer to beat Sting. So what the fuck are we doing here? Glenn, do you believe in Sting? Does he look like a credible threat to you against a guy like Lance Archer?
No, I hate Sting. I've never liked Sting. I gotta be honest with you. I liked him when he used to tag with the Ultimate Warrior back in the day. That's the only time I ever freaking liked Sting. But I'm 45, by the way, just so everybody knows. I go back to those times. But yeah, no, I don't even understand what he's doing there. I understand they tried to pair him up with Darby Allin, and I think it took away from Darby more than anything than pushing him. Yeah, he's got to go. I don't understand what he's doing there anymore. He's taking away from other guys. So.
He's got to go.
He's got to go. Get him out of there. What is he doing? He's not like it's kind of like what you said. There's nothing against him. He's older, but he can't really, he's good on the mic, kind of, but like he doesn't even know who to. I don't know. I'm confused by why he's there and his iceberg or glacier entrance that he's doing.
Yeah,
it's a little ridiculous. It's over the top and it's cheesy and. They're killing him. Like, I don't know. Like, just let him be, man. Let Sting go.
It's what he wants to do.
Bring him in once a year.
He's signing the contract. This is what he wants to do. He wants to come back and wrestle. This is his choice, and AEW is just sending him the money. But you look at a guy like Ethan Page, who just came into the company, who's a smaller guy who can wrestle, who could carry Sting, who could use the rub, who's a heel. That, to me, made a lot more sense. Ethan Page and Sting would have been my go-to next for Sting.
Yeah, but how do you cut him from Darby Allin? What might happen with the whole Murder Hawk thing is he's going to attack Sting. Someone's going to come in to save Sting. It'll probably be Darby Allin. And then there you go, Darby Allin with the Murder Hawk and whatever. Let Sting kind of sit in the sidelines.
So this is just like... Sting is just the in-between, you think, to get Darby versus Lance? I could see that, well, but judging on what we saw tonight, I think Darby and Scorpio is going to be a thing that we're going to see for a while, right? Because you had the Darby Allin match tonight, and I think Darby and Sting are going to part ways. I think Sting, tonight, we saw the thing with Lance Archer. Sting is going to start doing his own thing. He's going to be Sting on his own, and Darby now is going to start doing his thing as the TNT champion. He can't be a tag team with Sting forever if he's one of the only singles title holders in the company. Darby and Scorpio, I thought, had a really good match, main evented. I thought it was match of the night. Darby versus Scorpio, I like that match a lot of nice reversals there. Darby reversing out of Scorpio's TKO into a small package for the pinfall victory to retain the TNT title. Scorpio hit a nice cutter as Darby was diving out of the ring, right? Scorpio grabs him with the cutter, RKO style, really nice. And Darby did his coffin drop, and Scorpio caught it into a powerbomb. That was pretty sweet. I like that match. Match of the night for me. But then afterwards, Scorpio attacked Darby and applied a heel hook for a while, and the referees came out and stopped it eventually, and they were saying, oh, he's going to break his leg, he's going to tear his knee. And so it seemed like maybe they're selling some sort of Darby injury here. And Shivani also remarked on Scorpio exiting through the heel tunnel. There's a babyface tunnel and a heel tunnel, and Scorpio left through the heel exit, so he's clearly a heel now, and I think Scorpio and Darby are going to keep on going. I don't think you see Darby back with Sting. I think Darby and Scorpio now is the move. What did you guys think of that match? Was that your match of the night? What was your match of the night tonight? Johnny?
Yeah, I definitely thought that was the match tonight. Great reversals back and forth. Felt like those guys knew each other pretty well. I liked the cutter was good too, but I liked when he went for the coffin drop and reversed that into a power bomb. I thought that was really nice. And that was a good near fall. You kind of knew Darby was going to win, but they didn't make Scorpio look like he was outclassed whatsoever. It didn't look like it was completely one-sided. Darby's very, very good. He's very good at making it seem like his opponents could always beat him. He's that great underdog champion. He plays that role very well. And they should keep him as champion as long as they can, because he's the kind of guy that you feel like he could lose at any moment. So they should keep this going, because I feel like in the end it'll be a bigger payoff for him, and he'll be more over as a star if he's longer reigning as a champion.
Yeah, I didn't love Darby's match at the pay-per-view, but this match tonight was fantastic. Darby in one-on-one matches, in big title matches, he excels. He is excellent. Glenn, you like Darby?
Well, not as much as the women's match. No, I'm just joking. No, that was a really good match. It was pretty good. Super entertaining. There was a Canadian Destroyer again in there, man. There was 3 Canadian Destroyers tonight. It was like the move of the night that was going around. They call it the Code Red, I think, for him, right? Something like that.
I mean, they call it all sorts of things for different guys. Some people call it Code Red. Yeah. Some people say Destroyer. Some people say Canadian Destroyer. It depends on the guy.
Canadian Destroyer, man.
Yeah, PD Williams, Maple Leaf Muscle. Yeah, I like that. I like that match a lot. Darby and Scorpio. Scorpio going full heel. I think he needed that. They've been trying to do something with Scorpio for a while. The babyface kind of bland. Nothing Scorpio wasn't working. Turn him heel, make him mean. I think that works. I'm down to see these guys wrestle again. Maybe some sort of
great chemistry.
Yeah, some sort of crazy match that would suit Darby's style even more. One of a no DQ type of deal. I think they tear the house down. They had a great match tonight in a normal singles match that Darby won. Scorpio did the post-match attack, sets up a rematch in some sort of no DQ. I think it'll be good. I'm happy with this feud. Scorpio, he's a solid wrestler, but just the gimmick, the story wasn't really working for him. Now with Darby, maybe it'll work out. All right, we had Ethan Page beating Lee Johnson. Hit a pretty nice Razor's Edge deal. He had a couple good moves in that. A nice top rope body slam, just standing on top rope, bam, body slam Lee Johnson. The Razor's Edge finish was pretty sweet too. Page attacking Johnson after the match. John, what did you think about this match, man? I thought this was decent stuff. I like Lee Johnson. Every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, this guy's pretty good. Him and Ethan Page had a nice one. Page was good in this one. Solid.
I thought it was all right, but it wasn't very exciting. I thought it was kind of dragged out a bit. I thought Ethan Page, he's solid in the ring, but it wasn't anything flashy, which, not every match needs to be flashy, but I felt there was just too many dead moments, and it was a lot of stalling. But it's Ethan Page's kind of style of wrestling, which is fine. But I don't know if AEW, if that's really going to work out for him too well, because a lot of those guys are much more fast paced. So I wonder how his style is going to mesh well with other guys. It's going to be interesting going forward. To me, he just seems more of a Robert Roode kind of wrestler, which is not bad, but I don't know if it fits in AEW.
That finisher was pretty good. The Razor's Edge deal.
Right, yeah, to Lee Johnson. Is he going to do that to everybody? I doubt it.
Yeah. QT Marshall left after. So Ethan Page starts attacking Lee Johnson after the match, looks at QT Marshall what are you going to do about it? QT just leaves. Dustin Rhodes shows up eventually. He makes the save. There's something going on with Dustin and QT and Lee Johnson. QT is trying to leave the Nightmare family, and I really couldn't care less. Does anybody give a shit?
He spat on Dustin on the pay-per-view. To me, they broke up, but they didn't break up, which was kind of stupid. I don't get why he came out still saying he's part of the Nightmare family. When you spit on your partner like that, you're done.
Right. What happened?
Well, they had a miscommunication or something during that battle royal at the pay-per-view, and he spat on him, and he just eliminated himself.
Yeah.
And then he just said, "Oh, it's a misunderstanding." But like, man, you spit on me. Like we're going to war. Like it's over.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just don't care enough to watch. You know what I mean? I don't care enough to pay attention with what's going on with QT Marshall and Lee Johnson and Dustin Rhodes. It's a storyline set for AEW Dark, but for some reason it's spilling over on Dynamite, and I don't need it. I don't need it. Glenn, do you watch AEW Dark? You know what that is?
I've heard of it, yes.
All right, there you go. There you go.
But I mean, this whole Nightmare Family thing, like, honestly, it's one of those factions that you completely forget exists until they kind of pop up every once in a while. And they usually come out when they're saving Cody. It's the only time I ever see him. Like,
and when they're not with Cody, they're completely irrelevant. Like, they don't matter. And Lee Johnson is decent in the ring. I think he's got a future, but I don't give a shit about him. I don't give a shit about him and QT and Dustin and QT's fucking issues. Dustin and QT as a tag team, I don't really care. I don't care. I do care about Hangman. Everybody cares about Hangman. He's the best. He's everybody's favorite AEW superstar. You can hate AEW but still think Hangman Page is the shit, right? I think most people, that watch AEW, they love Hangman. And even people that are like, AEW sucks, WWE's so much better, they even have to admit that they like Hangman. Hangman is everybody's favorite wrestler. You can't help but love the guy.
Not me.
What the hell is the matter?
I don't love Hangman. I don't love Hangman.
He's so charming.
It's funny with Hangman. Well, no, a great wrestler, but I mean, it just, I don't know if it's his voice or the way he carries himself when he's doing promos, but he doesn't really fit the badass cowboy character. Like, it feels forced, like it's doesn't feel genuine. And now he's with the Dark Order, which is kind of like, it's going to be a comedic kind of faction, I guess they got going on there, which I don't know what they're doing with the Dark Order. That's, that's unfortunate. But I don't think he's the best. He's okay.
That's why you gotta watch BTE.
I don't think he's the best. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think I don't think he's Kenny Omega or anything like that, or Ray Phoenix.
Honest, it's good.
Johnny, do you like?
You like?
Johnny loves Hangman.
I like Hangman, but
he's
I'll
not bad.
agree. Like in terms of the character, though, like it could be better. I'm not a big fan of him with the Dark Order. I think it's better him by himself. Actually, I don't really like him in a faction. So I agree with Glenn on that one.
I like Dark Order helping Hangman. I love it. It is a beautiful relationship. It is a beautiful love story between the Dark Order guys and Hangman. You guys don't watch BTE, so you're missing out. You don't know what I'm talking about, but they love Hangman, and Hangman, he didn't want to be with them, but more and more he wants to hang out with them, and it's fantastic. Hangman bought himself a brand new riding lawnmower with all the money that he won from Matt Hardy. He bought all the Dwight Yoakam on vinyl. He is ready to do some cowboy shit. He bought whiskey, and then the Dark Order showed up. All the boys, Johnny Hungy, Reynolds, Uno, 10. 10 loves cocaine. I don't know if you knew that, guys. You don't watch BTE, so you don't know that 10, he is addicted to cocaine, and that's part of his gimmick on BTE.
The hell of a drug.
Yeah, Johnny Hungy, he's never kissed a girl and so on. Stu Grayson, fantastic. Dark Order, man, I'm telling you, the Dark Order is a top-notch team. You got to watch like the best of the Dark Order from BTE just to get caught up, Glenn. So you know what I'm talking about with Johnny Hungy.
Why'd they ditch number 5? Isn't that he just left him?
Don't ask that question.
Don't
ask that question.
5. That's why. Because fuck 5. Fuck you, 5.
I don't understand that whole thing. I don't know what the hell's going on.
He's the butt of all the jokes.
It's better you don't know.
No, it's better you do know, because he's like the guy they make fun of in Dark Order. Everybody in Dark Order hates 5. 5 is the worst. Even though 5 was the one that kind of brought Hangman back into the fold, the rest of the boys, they hate 5. Johnny Hungy, Evil Uno, they all fucking hate 5. Grayson fucking hates 5.
I guess he'll be the reason that they all split up.
No, they'll never split up. 5 is
Oh, what are you talking about? Of course they will.
They'll never split up because they're too close. They're a family. You don't understand, man. The Dark Order is a real thing. It's a real family. -1 is in it. Yeah, they can't. Yes. And I'm in it. I'm in it, okay? Join the Dark Order. -1 is in it. You know, Brody Lee is the exalted one of the Dark Order. He passed away. It's deep now. It's gone too deep. And for the people like myself that are fully in it and fully indoctrinated into the Dark Order, like we could never – it would be like tears if they broke up. It would be seriously sad. I would be heartbroken to see them break up.
You know what should happen is the cowboy should put -1 through a table at some point. That's the only way to get his character going. Yeah, I mean, he's got to do something to that kid.
That might happen, but I mean, that would turn Cowboy super heel, and I don't think he should do that. That's terrible. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe in a few years. But Maki Ito might be with Dark Order. They're looking for somebody to. They were like, oh, maybe we'll get somebody to replace Anna Jay. Anna Jay was hurt, and then Maki Ito showed up on BTE. She was like, surprise, motherfuckers, and they all freaked out, all very excited about that. But I'm not sure we should let Maki Ito into Dark Order. I'm not sure she's right for the Dark Order. But I, again, disappointed because we didn't see enough Dark Order or Johnny Hungy tonight. That was it. The Hangman backstage little 2-minute thing, that's it. More. I need more Johnny Hungy. The world needs more Johnny Hungy. All right. Tony Schiavone comes to the stage. He's there to interview Christian. But Kenny Omega shows up with Don Callis and the Good Brothers. And they do a promo in the ring. And Callis is bragging about Kenny's win at Revolution. And Kenny mocks Eddie Kingston for dry humping Mox while 4 sparklers came out of the corner post. And then Eddie Kingston shows up and he gets in Kenny's face. And they do a fake countdown to mess with Eddie Kingston. And then Eddie starts fighting with Kenny. And the Good Brothers jump on him. And Eddie Kingston starts brawling with the Good Brothers, and Moxley shows up. Moxley starts brawling with the Good Brothers. Kenny's left in the ring for some reason. I don't know what happened to Kenny, but he was down in the ring. A huge melee. And then Christian shows up, and he has a face-to-face with Kenny. And Kenny wants to shake hands with Christian. Christian doesn't want to shake hands. Kenny goes to punch Christian. Christian ducks, goes for the unprettier, has him locked in it. But Don Callis pulls Kenny out of the ring before Christian could hit his finisher. Christian picks up the AEW title belt, looks at it like he's thinking about it, puts it back down, stands tall to end the segment. Perfect. Don Callis kind of went on a little bit too long, a little bit long-winded promo from Don. But overall, Kenny addressed the thing that happened with Moxley and Kingston at Revolution, made fun of them. I thought that was fine. Kingston and Moxley got their job done by starting a feud with the Good Brothers by, attacking them and also coming out looking like a tag team. So it seems like Mox and Kingston have their thing done. And then Christian and Kenny, exactly where they should be. Christian, the newest signee to AEW. Moxley just got beat by Kenny. There is no better number one contender right now for Kenny than Christian. There is no better dream match right now for Christian than Kenny Omega. When you come into AEW from the WWE or from wherever and you haven't wrestled Kenny, Kenny's the guy you want to work. And that's who Christian is working right off the bat, and that's exactly how it should be. So Christian versus Kenny, fucking sign me up. I'm down for that. That's the best thing AEW did tonight. They put that in motion. Christian versus Kenny. You fucking kidding me? Johnny, you can't be mad at that. That's going to be a kick-ass match.
Well, it's a little too soon to start, thinking about that match. I mean, Christian still hasn't wrestled in AEW. I mean, when you think about it, he hasn't had a real one-on-one singles match in like 7 years. So, I'd rather see him wrestle for a couple of weeks straight. And then let's see how that goes, and then we can talk about Kenny. But until that happens, he's got to wrestle some top tier talent before he gets a title shot. If you think about it, when they had rankings, or if they still have rankings, Christian's nowhere near that title.
Forget that, man. Who cares? Give him the title match right away. He's Christian. He's a legend of the business. Why does he have to beat people to earn a title shot? I say give it to him. I mean, maybe storyline, whatever, but, like, really? Who else is there for Kenny other than Christian right now? What makes sense? Hangman, obviously. Anybody else?
Sting.
I would, yeah, Sting or Archer would be good.
Archer. Archer's a heel, I think.
Yeah, you can make 3 ways. It's fine.
Johnny loves a good 3-way. So Sting, maybe, and Kenny. You like that, Glenn? Yeah, I meant it.
I did. I enjoyed that.
I meant it in all the ways.
You got the little nod.
I meant it in all the ways.
Is this not a 3-way tonight here?
That's right. Well, yeah. Not my favorite kind.
It's not a good one. Man.
Not my favorite kind. Yeah.
And we got Goomba in the chat going nuts over there too. So you got your fluffer in the chat over here.
Oh yeah,
he's fluffing around.
You mean Goomba, you mean AJ.
He's my fluffer. Yeah.
AJ. Yeah. Well, I call him Goomba from back in the day. Yeah. It's. But yeah. But I think Omega and I think Omega. He's a man of many names. I think Omega.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think Omega and Christian's amazing though. I think. Omega, because like Johnny was saying, he hasn't really had a match in a long time. He did great at the Rumble. Like, he had some good spots there. But, Omega could carry him. I mean, if Omega can wrestle like a 6-year-old girl and carry her through a match, he can keep Christian going. And Christian's an amazing wrestler. I really hope he does well. But I think that's a great setup match to kind of get him going. I don't think he'll win, but
you do it as soon as possible because Christian is only getting worse. He's 47 years old. I mean, how much better can he be? Kenny Omega wrestles a pretty physically demanding style. There's only a certain amount of time Christian has left where he can have a match with Kenny that'll be anywhere near what he and we want it to be. So fucking go for it. Let's go. Let's not waste time. Let's get Christian in the ring there with Kenny. I would put him in the ring with Kenny for his first match in AEW for the belt. I would give him a title shot right off the bat. Maybe you got to give him some sort of number 1 contenders match, but, whatever. Have him have it and win, and then give him the match with Kenny. I mean, either way, we're going for Kenny versus Christian, right? Like, Kenny will not defend the AEW World Title against anyone until he defends it against Christian. Right, John? Like, do you think somebody else challenges before Christian? I do not. It seemed pretty clear tonight that Christian was next.
Well, no, he's not, because I believe Kenny already has another match already set up in Impact where he's, like, defending his title against the Impact champion, I think, at the next pay-per-view they have him.
What?
You didn't hear about this. Yeah, Kenny will be defending against the Impact champion at Rebellion. Champion versus champion. Kenny's going for double titles.
Champion versus champion. Him and Rich Swann?
Rich Swann or Moose, whoever wins the match this Saturday, is going to face Kenny at the Rebellion pay-per-view.
When's that?
I'm going to guess it's either at the end of this month or it's going to be early next month. Good. Definitely before the next AEW pay-per-view, that's for sure.
So they are doing a title versus title match. Kenny, are they going to really unify? April 24th in Nashville will be Kenny versus either Moose or Rich Swann. Impact title versus AEW title. Shit.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Wow.
When did this get announced?
That's pretty cool.
We got to watch Impact more often, I guess.
I think it was yesterday, yeah.
Oh, yesterday. Okay. Whoa. That's kind of nuts. Do you think they actually unify?
Yeah, they're probably going to give Kenny everything, I think. Yeah, sure.
Whoa.
Unless Christian shows up and costs him the match.
Which is possible.
Well, we got to make sure he doesn't lose the title because that would really screw things up there.
Christian, of course, a former Impact Wrestling champion. I wonder if he'll show up too. Whoa. A lot of funny things happening here. A lot of interesting stuff with Kenny and the AEW title. He's got Christian coming after him in AEW. April 24th, they're going to do a title for title match. God damn.
How are they going to unify, though? I don't understand how they're going to do that. Like, is Impact actually going to be, like, slammed in together like an NXT kind of SmackDown Raw thing? That's what's kind of going on here?
I think Kenny will just show up on Impact every now and again if he does win both titles. Like, there's no way Rich Swann is going to be the AEW World Champion, right? So Kenny might become the Impact World Champion and then show up from time to time to defend it and then eventually just drop it. I think it'll just be a prop, to put on AEW TV and be double champion and kind of break new ground, and it'll definitely be something new in pro wrestling to see a guy who's AEW and Impact World Champion at the same time. But, yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Kenny can just drop it back to whoever, Rich Swann or Moose or whoever Impact wants him to drop it to. I really don't see it as that big of a deal. I mean, I think it's possible. They're doing so much work together. Don Callis is one of the guys who's running Impact Wrestling right now, and he's appearing as Kenny's manager all over the place. So to have Kenny as the Impact World Champion would make a lot of sense. I kind of figured they were going to do it. I didn't know that they'd made it official, but I did think, Kenny's been talking about taking all the belts, collecting belts, right? Being a belt collector. So only one belt, it makes sense that he would go after another one. I think he'll probably win it, too. God damn. That's cool. Hikaru Shida, Ryo Mizunami, and Thunder Rosa beat Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Maki Ito. Rosa getting the pin on Ito. Baker attacking Rosa after the match with a crutch, which set up Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in an unsanctioned lights out match that'll main event Dynamite next week. St. Patrick's Day Slam. All right. What did you guys think of the 6-woman tag team match tonight? John?
I don't have a lot of good things to say about it. I thought Ito was very bad in this. I think her strikes are god-awful. I feel bad saying that, we should have her on Dynamite, because now I'm regretting saying that. I like Thunder Rosa winning, though. Thunder Rosa was great. I like that she died when everyone knocked out. Like, they make her look super strong. That's great. And hopefully she gets the win next week, too, because they should push her as the next champion.
Yeah. I don't get Maki Ito yet. Glenn, what do you think of Maki Ito?
Nah, I don't know, man. Their whole women's division is trash. Britt Baker, sorry, she's all right. Thunder Rosa is good too. I mean, that's their best match. That's what else are they gonna do? They got nobody else that can wrestle. It's I don't know what's going on with their women's division. There's no chemistry. It's too flashy. It looks like a NASCAR race when they're all wrestling in there with their fucking colors, and I don't know. I find it horrible. It's really hard to watch.
Yeah, I'm not a big
fan. The finisher was good.
I'm not a big fan of their women's division as a whole. I don't really understand Shida's gimmick. I don't think she has one. And that's kind of the problem. There's no real story. She's been the champion forever, and I don't really know anything about her. They haven't done a really good job. I mean, I don't think she's terrible. I think she's good in the ring. I think she can wrestle. It's just I don't think she's the best. I think she's pretty good. I just think that I have no reason to care about her. There's nothing. She doesn't really speak. I know she speaks minimal English, but still, you could do more. Do promos where she's speaking Japanese and you have subtitles and tell her story a little bit. She's been champion for a year, and I don't know shit about her. That's a problem. This is somebody they're trying to push. How do they push her? Well, they put her in matches against a lot of other unknown wrestlers. How does that get somebody over? No one in the AEW women's division really has a character or a personality or a promo, except for Britt Baker. I mean, they try to do something with Nyla Rose. God, if you watch BTE, you would see the garbage they're trying to do with Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero and some sort of minister guy, some sort of religious gimmick. Really bad. Really bad. I don't know what the hell they're trying to do with Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. Britt Baker's got it down. Her and Reba, they've got it down. It's fantastic. Great act. Maki Ito, I don't know. Thunder Rosa, she's all right. You know, she's a good wrestler, very good in the ring. Promo-wise, you know. Gimmick-wise, I don't really know what she is exactly. I mean, Ryo Mizunami, she's brand new. I don't really know what the fuck she is. What's her gimmick?
She can sing.
No, that's
that
Maki
the one who raps
Ito.
or whatever.
That's Maki
Oh,
Ito.
sorry.
that was Ito, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the
other one's a
problem with
mime,
it.
I believe.
She's a mime. Well, that's good. They have these weirdo fucking gimmicks that you don't really understand. Maki Ito has a gimmick, but what the fuck is it? She comes out and she sings in Japanese. Okay.
At least they tried to kill that a little bit tonight with them. Like she was still singing while they were all wrestling, and you know nobody's paying attention to her. So I guess they're trying to get rid of that little gimmick that she came in with. But it's garbage.
There's like a whole backstory behind Maki Ito and all that, and there's like a bunch of people that are all the way into it. But if you're not all the way into it, and you're not into Joshi wrestling, and you're not down with all that stuff, and you just watch AEW Dynamite, like most AEW Dynamite fans, I would think, maybe not though. I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe most AEW fans are those like super nerds that know every Japanese women's wrestler and their backstory and all that. I mean, if that's what you're into, fine, but god damn, I don't think the majority of the AEW audience is into that. And I think when we tune in, we're like, yeah, I don't really know who this Maki Ito is. She's singing. I guess she's a heel. I guess she's like a Japanese Jillian Hall. That's basically her gimmick. Remember Jillian Hall? She used to sing off key in WWE. That was her gimmick. I'm assuming that's what Maki Ito is. I know that there's more, but I'm not willing to do the research and read the Twitter threads and all that shit to figure it out. AEW is supposed to do that in a neat 2-minute video package, and they haven't done that. And I don't expect them to, because they still haven't done that with their goddamn champion, who's been champion for most of a year. Who the fuck is Hikaru Shida, other than a woman from Japan who wrestles? What other discerning characteristics can we be given about Hikaru Shida? What else do we know about her? What else has AEW told us about Hikaru Shida? She's Japanese. All right. She's a woman. I know that off the fucking top. I see her walk out. It's clear. She's a wrestler. Well, that's what she's here for. What else? Oh, she's Hikaru Shida. She's the champion. Fuck. Do you know anything like John, seriously, do you know anything about her? Have they told us anything about her gimmick? Is she the
has
boss?
A kendo stick all the time.
She likes kendo sticks. There you go. There's something.
It's Omega, man. Omega's got too much of a soft spot for the Japanese wrestlers, man. He's throwing them all in there. I don't know what his plan is, but the Impact girls are way better than the AEW girls. Start bringing some of them up. I don't know. Mix them in there. You got Blanchard in there, right? Who's the other one there? God, she's been around forever.
There's a lot of controversy with her, though.
Yeah, I don't know about her. She's a little dangerous. The WWE women's division just blows all of this away. The talent that they have there, the gimmicks that they have there. I mean, look at Bianca Belair and the little amount of time that she's been on TV and how much we know about Bianca Belair. She struggled with depression. She had an eating disorder. She ran track in high school. All those things I know about Bianca Belair that they've told us on TV, and they've given us a documentary about her, and they fucking told us everything we need to know about her. She's with Montez Ford. We know so much about her. And she's been on TV for maybe half the time that Sheeta's been on AEW, right? On like the main roster TV. AEW just does a shit job of telling us who these women are. They don't focus enough on them. They don't focus enough on who they are, what they have to say, and why we should care, more importantly. Right? WWE just does a better job with their women's division. They do.
Well, they have more North Americans, so I mean they're more relatable.
That too,
I mean,
but
it is what it is to us. Yeah.
I mean, look how they got Asuka over. You know, Asuka barely spoke. They got her over like a motherfucker. They got a lot of people over. Yeah, but that translated over to the main roster. She had some big matches. Go ahead, Johnny.
Well, WWE is also the master of like long video packages. So, you know, Asuka's had those long video packages for years and years now. And even with that too, though, I have to say, though, we still don't know that much about her. I mean, you know a bit, and if you do some digging on your own time, you can find out more about her on her own YouTube channel. But even then, WWE, like, besides the fact that she does weird promos here and there, there's not much more to her except that, you know, she can, you know, kick a lot of people's asses pretty much.
Yeah, all right. I mean, that's not necessarily wrong. But you know what?
You can find
Here's the thing.
Find her
Here's the
topless
difference.
photos too.
Here's the difference. All right, take it easy, Glenn. I didn't know about that.
I don't know about that with Asuka, though. I don't believe that's true.
Yeah.
No, you can 1,000%.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Glenn
Okay.
is well aware. Glenn is all over it.
Wow.
So.
NWO. Sorry.
But here's the difference,
AJ
John.
was controversial.
Yeah, I know. Here's the difference, John. Asuka is like the only Japanese women's wrestler they have on the main roster, right? So when you have
for now, yeah,
for right now, right? So when Asuka came, I mean, and when they had Kairi Sane, she was just Asuka Jr., right? I mean, there was real, and she had an umbrella, pretty much, right?
Yeah, you knew less about her.
You knew less about it, right? But Asuka can get away with being the Japanese women's wrestler and representing all of that represents because she's the only one. So if that's her gimmick, that's fine. But if you have 10 of them in AEW and all of them have the same gimmick, well, then it starts to get a little confusing. You know? That's when it gets a little confusing.
Shirai, when they bring her up, it might be rough.
Yeah, well, Io Shirai is the genius of the sky. I mean, I understand the difference between all of them. I think that they're all good. You know, but I just think that AEW has done a really bad job of making Shida into a star as their champion. No gimmick.
Well, you're not wrong. Yeah.
No gimmick, no interest level. No one cares about Hikaru Shida. And she's been champion forever. And to me, if no one cares and it's not working, you take the title off of her and put it on Britt Baker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, she's obviously the star of the division. Is she the best in-ring performer in the division? Maybe not. But she's top 2 or 3, and she can talk. That should be enough. I don't understand why Britt Baker hasn't been champion yet. That is the biggest head-scratcher of AEW, really. That's the one where I'm just like, why haven't they done this yet? Why have they gone back to Nyla Rose and Riho and Shida? And Britt Baker was like the first woman they signed, and she still hasn't won the belt. And she's doing great work. And she's clearly the top star in the division. And she just kind of flounders around. At least she'll be main eventing next week against Rosa, but I could see Rosa beating her, and then they're just kind of back to square one. John, why do you think they haven't given the title to Britt yet? What are they waiting for?
Well, I think that injury really set her back a bit. And they were kind of slow bringing her back in and then having her wrestle more often. I think that hurt. And then the fact that they didn't have anyone else really for Shida at the time. So I think that just hurt that they didn't really have anyone. Thunder came in, and that helped a lot. But, you know, it's been slow because there's not really much to work with, unfortunately. You know, you hear what happened to Big Swole as well. Like, she's out.
What happened?
Like, she's dealing with, like, an illness right now.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's not good. Hope she's all right. All right, Chris Jericho is in the ring for a meeting with the Inner Circle. He's got Santana, Ortiz, MJF, and Jake Hager in the ring with him. Jericho says it's time to move forward, maybe even introduce a new member to the team. MJF interrupts Jericho and says, I don't want to add a new member. I want to let somebody go. So you know where this is going. MJF is going to try, and everybody kind of saw this coming for a while, even Sammy Guevara. He saw this coming. He thought MJF was going to try and take over the Inner Circle, and this seemed like the time when MJF was going to take over the Inner Circle and they were going to beat down Jericho. Sammy Guevara shows up, and he's got footage to show Chris Jericho. Sammy set up a hidden camera inside Inner Circle's locker room, and it shows MJF talking to Santana, Ortiz, and Hager about taking out Jericho later on that night and kicking him out of the Inner Circle. They all agree to do it on camera. MJF says, yeah, I didn't want you to find out this way, but oh well, get him, boys. And then Santana, Ortiz, and Hager advance on Jericho, but then they turn around. It was a double cross all along. Jericho was in on it, and they go after MJF. But then Jericho gets on the microphone and fires MJF from the Inner Circle and says they're going to give him an old-school Inner Circle beatdown. MJF begs and says, no, I didn't want to take over your group because I was too busy building my own. So who's double-crossing who here? So the lights go out. I'm just not sure if the logic actually checks out on all this. We'll dissect it in a minute. FTR shows up. Wardlow, Shawn Spears, and Tully Blanchard. They're all in the ring. They've got weapons. Harwood smashes a bottle over Hager's head, takes him out. Spears curb stomps Sammy into a steel chair after hitting him with the chair. They handcuff Santana and Ortiz. Wardlow hits Jericho with a knee off the top rope. That was kind of weak. FTR hit their double spike pile drivers with Tully spiking Ortiz and Santana while they were handcuffed. And then MJF, he hit Jericho with a punch with the diamond ring. Jericho's forehead was busted open after that one punch, which was pretty cool. And then Jericho, he went for his bat. MJF stepped on his hand. Shivani couldn't figure out who had stepped on whose hand. He got a little confused in the moment there. Kind of ruined a really good camera shot. Shivani's confusion. Oh, well. Right? It was kind of like, oh, that was cool. And then Shivani oh, that was Wardlow. Oh, no, wait, that was Jericho's hand. Wait, no, that was MJ. Confused as all fuck, Shivani. And then Jericho, they beat up Jericho, and they powerbomb him off the stage through two tables. MJF's new group of FTR, Wardlow's always been with him, but now he's got FTR, Tully, and Shawn Spears. And they all powerbomb Chris Jericho off the stage through a couple of tables, and that's how Dynamite ends. So it's a double, triple cross. Who's double crossing who here? I mean, it was cool because you thought, oh, MJF and Inner Circle are just going to beat up Jericho, and Jericho's going to be on his own, but that's not what happened. But I just don't know if it makes sense. So MJF knew that he was lying to the Inner Circle guys, and he was starting his own group. So his plan was for them to beat up Jericho so that his guys could come beat them up? Was that MJF's ultimate plan? Is that what... Right? I guess that makes sense. John, does that make sense?
Well, they're all a bunch of snakes. I mean, you know a bunch of snakes. You know, you worked in media before. I mean, most people that you've known in media, there you go. You snakes. Laugh because it's true.
Yeah.
So that's it. They'll just, turn on you the second they can, and they'll turn again because that's what they do. Snakes do that. And MJF is a perfect example of that.
That's why you don't trust anybody. You really don't. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who's loyal. You don't know who's who. You're right. Bunch of fucking snakes. Glenn, did MJF make sense there? What did you think of the final segment? It was pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, but it felt you knew it was coming, but it felt a little forced and fast. If that makes sense. I like that the Inner Circle is back to the original Inner Circle. They were doing some great work before this whole MGF thing, with their vignettes and everything. I love their stuff. I love Jericho and the stuff they were doing. It was super entertaining. As silly as some of it was very entertaining. But yeah, a bit of I don't know. I just felt it was fast. It was just okay, we got to cut it now. Like let's figure out a way, little crisscross thing, and I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, but whatever. At least now you got your two factions, and you got two big factions to fight against for a little while because the Inner Circle had nobody to go against.
Yeah, I guess the Inner Circle now has a big group. Sammy Guevara, so I guess Santana, Ortiz, and Hager were always on Jericho's side. They were just messing with MJF. And Sammy Guevara, I guess now is with the Inner Circle again, even though Jericho turned his back on him and kind of chose MJF. I guess he was trying to keep it peaceful, and Sammy just had enough. But now Sammy's back with the Inner Circle, and Jericho and Sammy are good friends again, and they're supposed to trust each other. I don't know if that makes sense, but oh well. MJF with FTR and Sean Spears and Tully Blanchard and Wardlow. It's a big fucking group, man. It's 5 guys with a manager. It's 5 wrestlers with a manager, right? Wardlow, Spears, FTR, and MJF. And Tully. It's a 6-man group. Tully, I guess, is a manager. He's like a player coach at this point. Even though he's nearly 70, he still got in the ring last week. So, in the match, like as a participant. So, I guess it's a 6-man group. Inner Circle, they're only 5. I guess Tully doesn't wrestle when they do the big 5-on-5. Please don't be a cinematic football field bullshit match. It probably won't be because FTR's in it, but who knows? They might have to make FTR do it. Fuck. I don't know about this super group here with MJF. Like, does he need to be with all these guys? Do they all make sense together?
Well, I feel like they're trying to do like a 4 horsemen kind of thing. So I guess MJF's like the Ric Flair of the group. FTR is like the Arn and the Tully of the group. So yeah, like it all kind of makes sense. And
who's Sean Spears and Wardlow?
Well, that's
too many guys.
Psycho Sid and Lex Luger of the groups. The random 4th members. Hey, Horsemen still were over. It didn't matter if they had those guys or not.
Wardlow's knee to Jericho off the top rope was horrible. What the hell was that? Like, you're a big dude.
Yeah,
hit him with a slam or something. Why are you going to do a knee? That's not your move, Wardlow. You're a big, powerful dude. Do a power move. I don't know. I don't love the new group of MJF, with his team. And Jericho with the old Inner Circle, now his baby faces. I guess Jericho is a babyface. Inner Circle is a babyface group. Does that work?
Well, they cheer Jericho. They sing his song when he comes out. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Sammy is a babyface. Hager is a babyface. Like, it works for Jericho, but what about for the rest of the group? Santana Ortiz, I could see them being a babyface tag team, but Hager is a tough sell. So is Sammy Guevara. I don't know how that works out for them, but that's definitely what they're doing. I thought the segment was good, but what we see now going forward is kind of like, okay. I think Santana and Ortiz against FTR could have some really good matches, though. That's a bright spot. Jericho against MJF one-on-one would probably be good, too. And then the rest of the guys, who really cares, right? Wardlow and Hager can wrestle again for some reason. Those guys wrestled before. They seem to hate each other. And then Sean Spears can wrestle Sammy Guevara? Is that who he pairs off with in the match that no one gives a shit about?
Sammy's a great wrestler, though. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's good.
He can do a lot of good work, yeah.
He's good, but, I don't see him as a babyface. I see him more of as
They do well as a babyface, though.
He's such a
again, when they were doing
heel.
their vignettes, they were great. It's like they weren't really baby faces, but they were just being silly, and it's very entertaining when they do that.
Yeah. People like
For me,
MJF, though.
yeah.
MJF is still going to do the same type of shit there with FTR. I think MJF and FTR fit. I just think Sean Spears and Wardlow and all these extra pieces, it's like, that's a lot. It's a lot. Mox and Kingston are going to wrestle the Good Brothers next week on St. Patrick's Day Slam. I think that match could be very good. I like that. Mox and Kingston definitely go over. Well, do they go over the Good Brothers? Do we have a non-finish? What do you think here? Do Mox and Kingston win? Do they? Because the Good Brothers are the Impact Tag Team Champions. Are they really going to lose on AEW TV? Or do they beat Mox and Kingston with Kingston taking the fall? John, what do you think here? What's the finish to this?
Well, this is the good thing about AEW. One of the few positives I find they're going to have next week for sure is that usually you get a good finish. Like, they don't usually do non-finishes or DQ finishes. Usually someone gets a clean win or maybe some shady win, but there's still going to be a win. So, like, if it's going to come down to this, like, I think Moxley's going to get the win back because they got to rebuild him again. So he's probably going to get the win. This is not for the tag titles, so they could take a loss.
Okay. Cody versus Pentagon. Does Cody win here? Is this the Cody rebuild, or does Cody just take a loss to Pentagon?
I usually bet on Cody.
Yeah, that is a safe bet. Glenn, you going with Cody?
Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Cody's going to win for sure. They're not going to give it to Pentagon. I mean, come on.
Matt Hardy has a new group. Matt Hardy is with a Private Party, and Matt's mad that he lost his money, but he still has enough money to last them, and he's all good. And he introduces the newest addition to the Matt Hardy Empire, Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny. And Matt says the four of them will destroy 4 people on Elevation Monday, and then together they will destroy the Dark Order. Matt Hardy, Private Party, Butcher, and Blade will wrestle Jurassic Express and Bear Country next week on Dynamite. But, man, Butcher and Blade are like the last team that no one wants to pick. Like, no one wants these guys. Pac had them for a while. No, wait. Did Pac? No, Eddie Kingston had them for a while.
Yeah.
But before they were with Eddie Kingston, who were they with? Were they by themselves? Weren't they with somebody before Eddie Kingston?
I don't think so. I think they were by themselves.
Yeah, they were by themselves.
Oh, okay. So they were with Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston now, he's decided he doesn't want to be with them anymore. He wants to hang out with Jon Moxley. So Matt Hardy's just like, oh, I'll pick you guys up on a discount. I lost a bunch of money to Hangman, but for some reason I'm still going to, I guess, sign you to take your money. That's how he's going to recoup the losses to Hangman. He's now got a new group that he can take money from, right? Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny. In the Matt Hardy Empire. Okay. Like, they really assigned some new members to new groups here tonight. MJF has a new group. Sammy's back in the Inner Circle. Matt Hardy's got a super group. It's a big group Matt Hardy has now, right? What do you think of Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny joining up with Matt Hardy and Private Party? They do not fit together. And, like, didn't Matt Hardy have TH2 on his payroll, too? I guess he gave up on those guys. Like, fuck those guys. They're they're jobbers. Butcher and Blade, they're better. Like, is that what happened? And also, Butcher and Blade, they just decided, we're not going to have them with Eddie Kingston anymore. We need to do something with them. Let's put them with Matt Hardy. That was really sloppily put together.
Yeah, it was. What do you want me to say? Like, that's what
something.
It was.
All right.
Well,
Jade Cargill.
I'm at least happy.
Yeah.
Just one thing. Just like, I'm happy that they gave him some direction, because what are they doing now with Eddie Kingston? Like, they're not still like a family, are they? Like, no, they aren't. So at least they have that settled, that they're going a different direction than Eddie Kingston, at least. I'm glad they're doing that.
Did they address it?
Well, the fact that they're with Matt Hardy, it's clear that they're with him. They're not with Eddie anymore.
But why aren't they with Eddie anymore?
Because Matt bought them.
Eddie's got PTSD, man.
Because Matt bought them?
Yeah.
I thought it was because they didn't want to help Eddie lift Mox out of the ring, so Eddie dropped them. That's what it looked like, but they didn't really address it. Because on the pay-per-view, when Eddie was coming out on the stage, I think Butcher and Blade were there, but the camera barely caught it for like a second. And Eddie seemed to be arguing with them, and then he went to the ring by himself, and I think Butcher and the Blade went back through the tunnel. I think that's what happened, and I think that's how they broke up. But AEW didn't think it was important enough to fucking tell you about it. Right? They were a group for a long time. Now they're not. Who cares?
Yeah, well, they're going a different direction. They're moving on. Eddie's doing his thing now. They're doing their thing with Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
That's fine. At least they're giving them direction.
Jade Cargill will be in action next week. That's pretty exciting. It'll be her first one-on-one match, I think, in AEW. Be fun to see what she does there. And Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in the unsanctioned Lights Out match. Does Britt win? I feel like she needs to set up a match with Sheeta to take the fucking title. But every time they're right there with Britt Baker, she loses and they go with somebody else. And they do a babyface versus babyface match. So I feel like Thunder Rosa's going to win. Get her revenge.
What was she actually injured, though, for the last few, I guess, months? Or was that just a gimmick?
Britt?
She was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's why she was.
Well, she's been wrestling, though.
Recently.
Yeah, but it was slowly.
So.
Yeah, slowly they brought her back in. They didn't have anyone really to feud with until they got Thunder Rosa. That was the problem. And they weren't really able to build her up to become the champion. And this match is unsanctioned, so it doesn't really count towards the records. So it doesn't matter if she loses this match or not.
Do you think they make her champion in 2021?
Yeah, I think she's the one to beat Sheeta. I mean, who else is there? Maybe Rio, but that's about it. It has to be her or Britt, I think.
Or Jade Cargill. It could be Jade Cargill. You never know.
Let's wait too soon.
All right. Go to ringsidereport.net. Check out everything that we do. You'll find all the things over at ringsidereport.net. All the shows that we do. We're on all the time. We're on after Raw. We're on after SmackDown. We're on after Dynamite. I'll be back on tomorrow night with AJ and Freddie to preview the Bilal Muhammad, Leon Edwards UFC Fight Night coming up on the weekend. Going to give you more winners. My parlay was a winner last weekend. I told you that Jan Blachowicz was going to beat Israel Adesanya. I told you that Amanda Nunes was going to beat Megan Anderson. And I told you that Aljamain Sterling was going to beat Piotr Jan, and he did it by hook or by crook. It doesn't matter how you win. It's if you get that W and if it cashes in on your ticket. And I know AJ is still salty for picking Piotr Jan, but the fact of the matter is you cannot knee a grounded opponent, and that's what he did. And that's why Aljamain won by disqualification, and that's why he's the world champion, and that's why we all cashed in, because I picked Aljamain, and I knew he'd win by disqualification. I fucking knew it, all right? I thought Piotr Jan would use a steel chair or maybe one of those exploding barbed wire baseball bats. I didn't think it would be a knee to a grounded opponent. Nevertheless, very impressive. Very impressive stuff. AJ's so mad. AJ's so mad right now.
Yeah,
and I'm doing this to make AJ mad. AJ will be mad with me tomorrow night. Glenn, where can we find you? There's a logo. I don't know if you noticed in the bottom of the screen for your gym, Gracie Baja.
Yeah, I
West
saw
Island.
it. Really nice.
So we're plugging your gym. Go check them out. What's your social media? What's the things? You're on things?
I'm on things. I'm on a few things. Instagram is Gracie Baja West Island. And my Facebook is Glen MacKenzie. You guys spelled MC. I'm an MAC.
Oh, damn.
I'm a Scottish guy. It's all right. The Scottish people are going to attack you now, by the way. You can't put me as a Mick. You can't put me as a Mick.
Sorry.
My people, you know what I mean? First the English, now this. My God. But yeah, so you can find me on there. Yeah, for sure. I'm all over the place.
All right, there you go. Follow him. Follow Johnny at North Genesis on Twitter, Genesis Johnny North on Instagram. Follow me on all the things at Dave Simon MMA. I will be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA. Johnny will be back with me here Friday night, 10 p.m., right after SmackDown. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. Don't forget to like this video. Oh, yeah, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Go to donate.ringsidereport.net, merch.ringsidereport.net. Support the team. See ya.